Hi, I'm Kurt from Oz Armour and welcome to Workshop Wednesday.
So today we're looking at tool clamps on our StuG III. We've got a lot of really good reference points, original welds, leftover parts of old tool clamps and holders that we're just going to be refurbishing or making new. So we're starting with the short-handled hammer on the rear engine deck. This is possibly on a riser. So a riser is basically a hat section piece of steel that lifts the handle of a tool so it actually sits parallel with the plate.
Once again, we've had a lot of help from Adam Mann and Evan McCallum, who gave us fantastic advice on tool and accessory mounts. Even though we've had these pieces laser cut in bulk in anticipation of all the German vehicles in the pipeline, they're still really tricky to make. Thankfully, this isn't Beau's first rodeo.
Give it a go. Now, if we just pressed it how it was, we'd end up flattening these tabs back out. So I've got to add this little piece in.
Nice.
What we're going to be doing now is attaching our pivot points. I could probably roll this material, but it'd take a very long time and would require a lot of heating and welding and effort. Whereas I could just weld one of these pieces of round bar on to create a pivot. They sit at 37.5 millimeters. I've marked the overall height. Now I've got to work out how much to take off for the height of our round bar. Pretty sure it's 10 mil. We've got to make the part that wraps over the tool and goes in between here, and it's got a bit of round bar on it so that it locks in. So this one's still got a piece of the original clip left on it. Would have had something very similar to this, which locked in underneath like that. This clip went on this way, and this handle isn't tapered, so that will make it a bit easier for me to set this arm. As you can see, that's a nice rounded sort of a shape to go over our handle. There's a lot of play there, so to take up the distance of the thickness of the hammer head, they've put a riser on to lift the tool clamp up, keep the handle nice and straight to the hull. So this would have been lifted up to here. Lucky I wasn't welding with my grinder just then. I wanted to go pick it up to weld. So we've got really good evidence of the riser for the tool clamp to sit on top of. So what was it, 70 mil? No. Ooh. Yeah. Good thing about the top is we welded it with stainless steel weld, and we can weld to it with the MIG. Oh man.
Doesn't like that.
Oh. That's because it's original weld and it was full of porosity.
Before we weld the clip on, Beau is going to make the box holder for the sledgehammer so that we can get everything in the right place first go. Beau stopped himself cutting the original box to get a few last measurements so we can get the new one in the perfect spot. There's a hole in the bottom of this piece to let rain out.
countersinking bit, cleans the edge up.
Why are you painting that black paint on everything, Beau?
Because it stops it from rusting. All right, line these marks up. Welder's not on.
Do you want to turn it on?
It's not even on.
Beau is only using the MIG welder here just to tack it in place. We can't use MIG on armoured plate, as it cracks really easily, so he'll have to go over it again with stainless for the final weld off.
So we're just trial fitting the sledgehammer just to get the clip in the right position. We want it to be the same angle as the handle. Apparently it was called a sledgehammer.
Really?
Yes, but it's just a short handled hammer with a cut off log splitter on one side.
There are some eagle-eyed enthusiasts typing extremely fast about this sledgehammer right this very second. Don't worry, we did pick up that this one is completely wrong. You'll see a correct one shortly. We'll probably have to make one new, as you can't buy ones in the original shape anywhere.
Ugh. This sledgehammer is from our StuG F in the museum. We've just taken it off of that just to give us a bit of a reference as to the length of the handle. So now that we've done this part, we're going to be working on the crank starter handle. There would have been a piece of pipe on a bit of flat bar here. This would have slipped inside the pipe. Up here, there would have been another clamp, the same as what we've used on our sledgehammer here, to hold it in place. I don't think this one was on a riser, but we'll soon find out. So we're looking at about 20 mil inside diameter minimum. When we made the clip for the sledgehammer, we made two of them because we know that the crank starter handle is the same type clip. So we've made two. So all we have to do here pretty much is make the pipe side of the mount. Here and here. See the sort of effort we go to get these things right. All right. This is the correct way. They had the tool clamps with the top of the clamp facing upwards, just like what we've got on the hammer. Whoa. It's good, I'm happy with how that's sitting. Tool clamp's dead level with this bar. It's perfectly square. I'm going to weld that on there. These are spare antenna holders. So there's a little raised hat section piece in the center. You would slide them through, pull them back, and then you would do up the hose clamp type split end on the antenna. Same deal, we've got perfect outline of where the antenna mount used to be, so we know exactly where to weld it in place.
Next up are the gun cleaning rod holders. Really not sure where that staple came from.
Just double checking. Oh, I never painted underneath it. I need to etch it, otherwise it'll bleed rust everywhere. That'll do. We've got the box where the cleaning rods sit in, and then they run along here and there's a clip that holds them in place. What's happened here is the deck's been upside down at some point and possibly dragged. The weight of it has just crushed the clip down flat. The weld is actually broken all the way around anyway. We're going to break the clip away, clean in between it. We're going to straighten it off the vehicle on the bench. Once it's cleaned up and we've refurbished it, we'll then weld it back in position. So there we go, full of rust underneath. It's good to get this off anyway to clean in between the plate. Look at how they've made it. One side is twice as thick as the other side, and that's not from corrosion, that's just how they made it.
All that molten metal gooping off is actually rust.
Okay, so it's opened up and fallen off. It's good.
The top latch is long gone, so Beau has to make a new one.
Okay, so this goes center and back.
The profile of this top latch is correct, but it's too thick and for a different piece of equipment. Otherwise, we would have for sure used it.
That's a really big bit of threaded rod, hey?
I guess it's got to be cut back. I've turned the inside of this shaft down so it's hollow inside, and this is how the Germans originally did this back in the war. So they would have put a tapered piece in there and hit it over, and the thin part stretches out and it can no longer come through. Just like that. Exactly 70 mil.
Wow, nice.
We have never attempted to restore a vehicle to this level of completedness before. The work Beau has done and is doing is just remarkable. We are currently at over 3 years with this project, but without a doubt, this StuG is unrecognisable from when we started. The last clip left to make is the one for the wire cutters. It's a different type to the others and will be a little bit more tricky. But that's all we have time for today. Join us next Wednesday for your weekly tank restoration fix. So until then, I'm Kurt from Armour, and I'll see you on the next one.